Okay, so this video is going to be on the new project that Linden Lab has just started called Bakes on Mesh. There's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of misunderstanding, and so I just wanted to tell you what it is, how it works, what are the misunderstandings, and get some stuff cleared up. Okay, so what is Baked on Mesh? Baked on Mesh is a system, an automated system that takes the textures your default avatar is wearing, that on the avatar body, and applies it to mesh that you are wearing. Okay. Eventually, this will be extended to mesh that you're not wearing, such as animesh, and could even be used for stuff like furniture and other things. But in the initial release, it will just be for stuff that the avatar is wearing. Let's see. So, how does it work? Okay, I'm wearing the default avatar, and the default avatar is broken up into 6 parts: the head, the upper body, the lower body, skirt that I don't hardly ever see anybody using, the system hair, which 99.99% people don't use, and the eyes. Those are the 6 parts. And if you take a look at the upper body part that I'm wearing, just from below the neck to it's either just below the belly button or just above the belly button. I can't remember. I think it's just below the belly button. I have a skin texture on, and I'm wearing a system top named Musician Female Top. Okay, and it's just a texture only. And these 2 textures are combined together. They're flattened together. You can think of the skin texture in Photoshop as layer 1, and this green top that I'm wearing is on layer 2. And what happens is those 2 layers get flattened into a single texture, and then that texture is applied to the default avatar's upper body. Right now, for custom avatars, such as Slink, they're called what are called onion skinned avatars. There's the skin layer, and what they did is they duplicated the avatar, the complete avatar, and they made it a little bit bigger so that there was another layer of mesh right on top of it, and that is for like their tattoo layer. And then they did it again and again and again. I think there's like on Slink, I think there's 4 layers. Other mesh body designers might have more or might have less. But what this does is, in Slink's, in the case of Slink, quadruples the number of vertices that is made up of the avatar. And not only that, when you have a tattoo layer that's 10 by 24 on top of the skin layer that's 10 by 24, those are 2 10 by 24 textures, instead of flattening them into a single 10 by 24 texture. And so if you have 4 layers on top, that's the possibility of having 4 10 by 24 textures on a custom mesh body, all needing to be resed, and rendered in Second Life. With this system, we'll be able to flatten all those onto a single texture, saving a lot of texture lag and vertex lag, because we'll be able to have a single layered avatar. Now, custom mesh body designers don't have to go to a single layer body if they don't want to. They don't have to use this system if they don't want to. But I believe most will eventually start to use it and I know Sadine Monroe, who's the owner of Slink and the creator of the Slink bodies, she's totally thrilled with this system because it's going to save her so much time and effort. And because her body right now is cut up into over 100 pieces, and that's very complicated and very, very difficult to do, to get all the edges to match up perfectly, and to get the normals of those edges to match up perfectly, and to have scripts that work perfectly together to have the HUD so that you can hide it and all that kind of stuff. It gets very, very, very time consuming. That's why she can only get 1 update out a year. She says without that, she could get maybe 2, maybe 3 bodies out a year. Probably not 3. She's probably not going to do 3 bodies. Probably at least another body a year. But she's going to be releasing more mesh heads for sure, because it won't be nearly as much work, and she can concentrate on doing what she loves, which is creating beautiful avatars and meshes, and not having to manage all these, meshes that are sliced up into individual pieces and multiple layers on top of each other and all that kind of stuff. So she's very excited. Okay, so I'm going to let's see. So I'm going to wear a slink body. I got her permission to upload this this for testing purposes. So this is going to be a slink hourglass body. It's going to have rough UVs on it. It's not the perfect UVs that she has, but it's kind of rough UVs on it. But it's a single layer. You've got to keep that in mind. It's a single layer. So it's easily 1/4 of the vertices that her normal avatar normally used to have. So I'm just going to right mouse click on it, click add. Boom. This is her body with the system clothing on it. System pants and system top and system skin. And I can edit my outfit. Go to edit outfit. And I'll zoom in a little bit. And I can, I can take off this top and close that. And you saw it went gray for a second and it updated the texture. And that's the black bra I'm wearing. So, now you notice the hands are missing. They're disappeared. Well, one, this mesh body doesn't have hands. But you're saying, well, shouldn't the system hands be visible? I'll get to that in a little bit, but there is a reason why you can't see the system hands. And I'll go into that later. Okay, so say I wanted to wear a mesh top that I made. And here's a mesh top that I made, but there's some poke through. Now normally you would have a HUD and you would be trying to hide different parts of the avatar body through the HUD. And it's limited as to what parts you can hide and what shapes you can hide. And so instead, we can just wear an alpha, just like the system avatar. Boom. Just like the system avatar. You just simply wear an alpha and you're done. And because all mesh bodies, custom mesh body avatars use the Linden Lab default UV layout, you only have to make one alpha and it will work on all the different mesh bodies. So as a designer, you don't really have to do anything. You'll just make an alpha and give it to your customers when they buy your mesh clothing. And it will work with any mesh avatar that's using the Linden Lab default UV layout. So no more messing around with HUDs, just right mouse click on it and wear. Or have it in a folder where your mesh top is in a folder. They can just right mouse click on that folder and wear it. Or add it to their outfit and boom, it's done, it's there, it's simple, it's quick, it's fast. Okay, so you can see how it's going to make things a lot easier for a lot of people. For mesh clothing, it also opens up an opportunity for mesh clothing designers to release their mesh clothing as a dev kit. You don't release it as rigged. You don't need to release it as a rig. If you want other people to texture your mesh clothing, you can release a dev kit and say, here's the dev kit. It's a decimated version of your mesh clothing, meaning you've increased the number of vertices in it, and then we simplified it a little bit so that it's not the same. You don't give it to them rigged, but it will have the same UVs, and they'll be able to take it into programs such as Substance Painter or Substance Designer or 3D Code or Photoshop or a number of other programs, and they can create an incredible texture for it. And then they can sell that. Because this isn't just for mesh bodies. You can make your mesh clothing work with this system, and then they can texture that mesh clothing simply by making a system clothing and adding that texture that they made to the system clothing. And then so they can sell on the marketplace their system clothing for your mesh. And of course they're going to have a link in their marketplace to your mesh and say in their description you must buy the mesh that works with this system clothing, that this is not for the system avatar, this is for the system clothing. And you don't have to use the UV layout of the system avatar. You're not restricted to that. If you do, it does make your mesh clothing more flexible, because then if somebody makes a shirt using the system clothing shirt for, say, this mesh top, and if you use the UV layout of the default avatar, they'll be able to come in here and they'll be able to edit this and maybe change the length of this mesh top. So you give your customers more possibilities of being able to adjust your clothing. So it just gives more things that people can do. And it's a win-win for you. It's a win because you can, not everybody's a great texture artist. Some people are great mesh designers, but they're maybe not that great of a texture artist, or they don't like making textures. They just like making mesh. You can, I said, give dev kits out for your mesh clothing, and allow other people to texture it and sell their stuff on the marketplace for your mesh clothing. So when they sell theirs, when they sell their system clothing for your mesh, there's going to be a link. They're going to, if they're smart, they're going to be a link in it so that people go to your mesh and buy the mesh and buy their system clothing and then just wear both, and it just works. Everybody's happy. Everybody's making sales. The customer is happy because they can just right mouse click on things and wear them. How awesome is that? So it's just a win-win-win for everybody, Now, some of the myths that are going around that are not true, or misunderstandings, is that one of them is that normal maps and specularity maps will not work on a mesh that is using baked on mesh. This is not true. It certainly does work on it, and I will prove it. So let me take off the crisscross top. Detach. Okay, let me take off my alpha that I was wearing. Where's the alpha? There it is. Take off. Okay, and now let me put on the equivalent of that crisscross top, but it's system clothing. Okay, so now this is system clothing. This is not that same mesh. You can see a little bit of distortion here. It's somewhat due to that my UVs for this body are not as good as Sadine's actual UVs for her mesh body. This is for testing purposes only. So this could be made quite a bit better. So how do we make UV maps and specularity maps work? Well, you just right mouse click on the mesh, and you go to select the face, right, as usual, and that's the texture, right, that you see in there, and you go to the bump map, or not bumping, it's your normal map, and you drop that down in there, and now we have the normal map, and then you go to the specularity, and you can drop down on the specularity, and now we have specularity, and we could increase this if you wanted to. You have all the same controls that you had before. So now we have a specularity map and a normal map on a mesh that is using the system layer clothing, as you can see. So it does work. Now people will have to use omega appliers to apply these for now. So as a clothing designer, you will probably have to still give them omega appliers for now. But we're hoping that we'll be able to get Linden Lab to add a slot, 2 more slots here for specularity and normal map, so that when you wear this, it just gets automatically applied. But that might take a while. I'm hoping that they'll agree to do that. Other things that I'm hoping that they'll do is that they'll allow us to make our own custom icons over here. Because if you're not using a system UV, the default avatar UVs, say you're using custom UVs like I did on my mesh top, you'd want to use a tattoo. You'd want to create a new tattoo. You'd want to create a new tattoo, and let's add that. And here's the tattoo, right? There's the tattoo. If you're not using custom UVs, if you're not using the system avatar UVs, you'd be using a tattoo, and you could put your textures here. So you could use up to 3 different textures, and then you can assign on your mesh those 3 different faces for these 3 different textures to apply to your mesh. And you can let your customers tint it if you want to leave it modifiable or not. But I would like to see us be able to make our own custom icon, so that if this was for a dress, you can make a little dress icon, and put it there. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to do that. Some of the limitations right now. Okay, so how do you make baked on mesh? And it doesn't have to be an avatar. Like I said, give me mesh clothing. How do you actually make one? It's pretty easy. You just have to wear the item first, or attach the item. Either wear it is rigged or non-attach, or attach it if it's not rigged to your body. And then go into edit. Got to select the face. So this particular mesh is 2 different materials. 2 different materials, one for the upper body and one for the legs. And so you select the face. Like see how I can. Let's select the different face. Anyway, so you select the different face, and you click the texture in the texture tab. Oh, that was on shine. Sorry. That's why I didn't show it. It's in the diffuse. You've got to be on the diffuse. See, this is the diffuse layer, as you can tell. So yeah, and see, there's the pants. So so you just select your face, and you click on the texture. Make sure you're on diffuse, and then you come here. There's a new button called Bake, and this is where you select from what part of the default avatar are you going to get your textures from. Right now it's set to upper body. If I set it to the lower body, you see it's now somewhat textured with the lower body. Now the reason you can still see the body is now and notice how you can see the hand. The upper body from the default avatar, system avatar, is now visible, because the way Linden Lab has it set up is that if one of the meshes that you're wearing is set to one of these different slots, like this is for upper body, it makes the upper body of the avatar invisible. Okay, so that's how it's set. So since I'm not wearing any mesh that is set for the upper body, is set to the upper body, it was allowing that to be visible. It was allowing the default avatar's body to be visible. That's why you could see the hand again. Okay, and we only right now have these 6 slots, and they represent, the head, from the default avatar, the upper body, the lower body, the eyes, the skirt, and the hair. I'm hoping we're going to get a bunch of blank slots, or auxiliary slots, I've been calling them, because what happens if you're wearing 2 different meshes that are both using the baked system, and they're both using the same slot, and you're going to get a mishmash of both the textures. You're going to get, like, the skirt. Look at this texture. That's a mishmash of all the different things that are being worn by the avatar. for the skirt, because I'm not wearing, see, it's because I'm not wearing a skirt. You know, I'm not wearing any skirt thing, so it's just getting the textures from everywhere. If I wore the skirt, now it's getting the texture from here, from this particular texture. You know, and you see how it's being textured with that. And so so that's how you pick these buttons. And then see now that I'm actually wearing a skirt, you can see the skirt now, because no mesh is using that particular slot, so you can see it now. So if I take off the skirt, it will obviously disappear. So I'm hoping we're going to get a bunch more blank slots. You know, a bunch more. I would like to see at least 20. You know, 20 or more. So that, and then what you'll do is you'll give your customers a couple of different. If you don't make your mesh modifiable, you don't have to make your mesh modifiable. Or if we can get a script that will allow us to change the mesh, and this is maybe what Omega appliers will do, is they'll create a script that will allow you to select your mesh and click on your HUD and change to a different slot for that HUD or for that mesh. And then but you'll need a mesh clothing that is set for that slot. You know, you'll need a system mesh clothing that uses that slot. The tattoo layers, like I said, they only do the head, the upper body, and the lower body. Maybe we can get them to add the tattoo layers to more, like to the eyes and the rest of them. But like I said, those textures will get sandwiched on top of each other. We really need blank slots, is what we need, so that we can have things that are not interfering with each other. So nothing's perfect, but you know, it's going to you know, depending on, like I said, nothing. Don't ever expect anything to be perfect in Second Life, and there's always going to be limitations on every new thing that they've added. You know, so okay, so and I'm not sure if I went over this, but some people, one of the things that people have been saying is they're like, well, the default avatar textures are only 512 by 512, so that means the custom mesh avatars are going to be limited to 512 by 512 if they use this system, or your mesh clothing by 512 by 512. That is only a half truth. Currently, right now, yes, the system avatar is limited to 512 by 512. You know, currently. Currently, the system avatar is limited to 512 by 512. But the Linden Lab is going to increase the resolution texture limit of the default avatar to 10 by 24 by 10 by 24. So it's going to be increased probably in the next week or two. And also this avatar, or this based on mesh, works. I'm on the beta test grid right now, but it actually works on the Second Life grid. You just have to have the test viewer, the baked on mesh test viewer, and it will work. Now, other people won't see it. If I walk around Second Life right now, what people would see is they would see the default avatar intermixed with the Linden Lab avatar with yeah, I'll show you. Let me take this off. This is what they'll see. And they may not see these. They may just see it as gray. I'm not sure. But they won't see the bit because they don't have they're not on the right viewer. They're, you know, so even though even though it will work on the Second Life grid right now, most people won't be able to see it. They have to be on the Second Life test viewer for the Big Stone Mesh project. So they will have to be on that. And as you can see, there's no normal maps or specularity map. Now maybe Linden Lab will offer that. Maybe Linden Lab will add that to the default avatar. I don't know if they will or not. It'd be nice if they did. It would be really nice if they did. But it's not on there yet. And so anyway, so yeah, so that's baked on mesh as it currently is. I don't know how long it's going to take to get out. I don't think it will take as long as Bento. I don't think it will take as long as Bento. I don't think it will take even as long as Animesh. But it might take, I'm hoping 3 months. But it'll probably go on to at least 6 months is what my guess is. I would love to get it out have them get it out in 3 months. But it will probably not get out for, my guess is probably at least 6 months. Maybe sooner, but I'm not sure. Depends on how much they give us. The blank slots, they may or may not give us. I hope they do, because it's very limiting without it. So would love the blank slots. Would love to be able to have this, where we can make our own icons. And there was something else that I know we were going to request, and I can't quite remember it. But anyway, so that gives you a good overview of the Baked on Mesh project. It gives you the possibilities. If you make horses, you're going to be able to make your people who buy your horses. You'll be able to come out with new breeds of horses with new coats, and just sell just give them or sell the system clothing. But if you were doing that, it'd be nice to, you would obviously use the tattoo one. It'd be nice if you could make a little horse symbol, for that. And the last thing I was going to say is you are allowed up to 60 to wear, 60 system clothing. Like, okay, so like right now I'm wearing, let me wear the musicians. Like right now I'm wearing the system, I'm wearing this one, right? I'm wearing that one. This is the system clothing crisscross top that you're seeing me wear right now. And I can also wear the green top I was originally wearing before. Here it comes. And I'm wearing both of them, right? You're allowed up to 60 clothing. Just like you can wear multiple alphas, you can wear up to 60 layers of system clothing, which is way more than any custom mesh avatar could ever simulate, So makeup designers, you might have 30 different layers on your face alone. Well, maybe not 30, but you can have lip liner, you can have lipstick, you can have blush, you can have eyeliner, you can have eyeshadow, you can have eyebrows, you can have freckles, you can have moles, and you can change the different layers, by moving them, so if so say you accidentally put your lip liner, your lipstick over your lip liner, you'll be able to come in here and just change the order, and now that the other top is on this top, Now you can only change the order of things that are the same category, but luckily tattoos are right next to the skin. Tattoos are right next to the skin, and because tattoos can be tinted, you'll be able to change your lipstick. Now, if somebody really wants to use a HUD and create a HUD for that, they can. Somebody, possibly. But you'll be able to do that and have up to 60. And all those 30 layers, or say you were using 30 layers of makeup on your face, which would be a lot. But say you were, once you click save, or you get out of editing your appearance, you've just saved all those 10 by 24 textures, all flattened onto a single texture. So it will give a huge amount of flexibility that we currently don't have. You know, we don't have this on the custom avatars. And in fact, the custom avatars can't have full facial expressions. At least this is what Slink was, Sadine of Slink was telling me. She goes, she has a layer on top of her, on her headset she does. I don't know how many layers. I know she has at least one layer on top. So she has 2-layer avatar for the head, at least. She might have more, but I'm guessing it's probably just 2. But she says, the hard part is that if she makes facial animations that are too expressive, you know, that are too big animations, the layers start overlapping each other and makeup starts to disappear. So she can't have the face animated as much as she would like. This would eliminate that completely, and you can have very expressive faces animated, and up to, like, say, 30, 40 different, up to 60 layers. Now, if you do all 60 layers on your head, that's all you would have is your head. You need to have some of those system clothing for the rest of your body. Well, no, you'd have some. You would have since the skin is considered a system layer, and it has 3 different, and it covers 3 different parts of your body, so you'd be naked with a bunch of makeup on. One skin layer and 59 makeup layers on your face. So nobody's ever going to do that. But anyway, but it does give you the opportunity. I mean, you can have tattoos and different tattoos from different people and freckles, and it just it's so much more of a variety and freedom. It's going to have basically the type of freedom that we used to have. The only reason people, well, I shouldn't say the only reason people switched to the custom avatars is that the default avatar it's not that nice. It's not that smooth. It looks okay. Some people love it. But it was made low poly on purpose 15 years ago, while this avatar is so much nicer. I think I need to bring the shine down a little bit. It's a little overkill on the shine. I was trying to make a point. Bring this down to 3. It's still quite a bit of shine, isn't it? I don't know why it says this is one of the sort of the bugs. This is one of the bugs that I've been getting, is that you make a change and it doesn't stick like it should. And so let me see if I do this manually, if it sticks. So this is a bug that we got to fix, but that's what beta is for. And let's see if that sticks. Okay, if I close that, will it stay? Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. Let's see. So anyway, so the custom avatars are so much nicer, and so yeah. So anyway, so it just we got some bugs we got to work out. We got some things that we need to add to make it work. But I think overall it's going to make things so much easier and so much nicer and so much more fun than it is now. People can still use pliers. People can still cut up their avatars in small pieces if they want to. I'm not going to stop them from doing that. But it just allows things to be done easier. You right mouse click on things and you wear it and it works. So so I'm very excited. So, alrighty, so that's baked on mesh, or bakes on mesh, and I will look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.